Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Presentation Hell. With us today in the Burning Embers of Hell, we have the fabulous Siomara Bridges-Mata, also known as Cece. Cece is the founder of Move Bridges Dance Project, where she has studied, taught dance, and hosted dance projects all over North America, Costa Rica, New York, Puerto Rico, and our beloved Tampa Bay area. She's been dancing for teaching kids, developing for over 15 years now. She is also the Director of Community Initiatives and Advocacy for Frameworks Tampa Bay. And this I find fascinating because Tampa Bay, Frameworks of Tampa Bay helps kids develop their emotional intelligence, their EQ. So it's a nonprofit. And she was just recognized by Tampa Bay Business and Wealth magazine as an up-and-comer. Congratulations. That's a huge honor. I was so proud of you for doing that and getting that recognition. It's always nice to be recognized. So today in our episode, we're going to focus on emotional intelligence, what it is and how it can help you in life, and of course, how it can help you make better presentations. So let's start with emotional intelligence. Cece, thank you for being here. So tell us, what is emotional intelligence?
Well, thank you first and foremost for inviting me to be here today and to speak on these topics that I'm very passionate about. Emotional intelligence is our ability to understand our emotions and our feelings and understand and be aware of them in others, and using that information to really guide our actions and our behaviors.
Okay, so what is it? Because when we talk about self-awareness, how do you get self-awareness? Because we all think we're self-aware. Like when we hold a mirror up to ourselves, what we perceive of ourselves as being is oftentimes different from what our peers, our colleagues, our family members see. So how do you, because I know a lot of people who are like, I am so self-aware, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, no, you're not. Like, dude, you don't have a clue. So how do you, I think I'm self-aware. I'm sure my friends and family might say otherwise. So how do you know if you're self-aware? How do you test your self-awareness, so to speak?
The big piece of self-awareness is understanding oneself, right? Mm-hmm. And we can do that by understanding our feelings. So when people say they're self-aware, are they truly self-aware? Are they asking themselves questions every day?
Right.
Are they saying more you rather than I and really taking ownership of how they're feeling? Mm-hmm. So self-awareness is really the practice of reflection. That is understanding our strengths, understanding areas where we can improve, and being aware of our emotions and how we're feeling from the morning to the night. And quite often, I will say that we don't do enough of that.
Right.
As a society.
It's hard to look at yourself. So what kind of questions would you suggest to someone to become more self-aware? What should I be asking myself to improve my self-awareness?
Starting with your emotions is just asking, how am I feeling today?
How am I feeling right now?
How am I feeling right now? And there's over 3,000 words in the English language vocabulary to describe how we're feeling. And we probably use less than a third of that.
I'm sure. I don't even think I know 3,000 words. What are your favorite descriptive words to explain how you're feeling?
How I'm feeling?
Yeah.
I'm usually relaxed. I'm content. I am purposeful. I'm inspired. Every day.
You're a positive person.
Pretty positive. I'm an optimistic, but I'm also realistic. I'm realistic about things. So sometimes I do feel tired. I do feel stretched. I do feel exhausted. I do feel frustrated. I do feel...
And by saying that, you're giving yourself permission and room to address that. Like if you're frustrated.
Yes.
That's funny. I'll tell you a funny story. I was once reading that if you smile all the time, that will transfer all around you for no reason. Just put a smile on your face. So I was like, okay, I'll try this, right? phone rings in the office. This is before caller ID. And I pick up the phone. I put a big fake smile on my face. I pick up the phone and I'm like, hello. And it was my mother. And she's like, hi, what's wrong with you? Like, you can't be fake. And I love what you're saying about take a minute, identify what you're really feeling, put a word on it, a descriptive word, and then give yourself time to address it.
Yes.
If you're feeling frustrated, why are you frustrated?
Yes. So,
and what can you do to change that?
Yes. So my work at Frameworks of Tampa Bay, we partner with about 90 public, private, and charter schools all throughout Hillsborough County. And one thing that we do in our trainings is emphasize that an emotion is not good or bad. It's comfortable and uncomfortable. And when that uncomfortable emotion happens, what am I going to do to move through it? We can't move around our emotions. Our emotions are just information for us.
Right.
And with that information, how is that going to guide our actions and our behaviors after that?
I love that. Emotions are information for us. Our emotions are information for us to help us guide our way through our day.
Yes. And
that's
think
cool.
about if we're building our emotional vocabulary, we're more equipped to name our emotions. We have a short thing that we say in our workshops. It's name it.
Mm-hmm.
We can claim it. So it is mine. This is how I'm feeling, and honoring that, whether it is comfortable or uncomfortable. We can then tame it. And
name it,
and not
claim it, tame it, don't blame
yes.
it.
Yes, I learned that from one of my favorite emotional intelligence experts, Keith Matheny.
Keith Matheny. We should look him up, Keith Matheny, for emotional intelligence experts. So self-awareness is a big part of emotional intelligence. And social awareness, we just spoke about. What about relationship skills?
So that is forming and maintaining healthy relationships. And
Easier said than done.
yeah, so when we think of first us being self-aware of areas that we can grow in, areas that we're really strong in, then moving to that self-management piece of, okay, I feel this. Now, what do I have to do in order to stay focused on that goal that I have, whatever it is? If it's a presentation that you're running, if it's an assignment that you have due, being able to work through that with coping skills and strategies. When we think about relationship skills, you're now moving out of self to those around you. And I think we didn't touch on social awareness, but it's that piece of putting ourselves in the shoes of others, understanding others' emotions. And we don't say that all these competencies connect to each other, or you have to learn one and then the other. It kind of is a framework. That's why we call it Frameworks of Tampa Bay. It's a framework to work from. So when we're building this in ourselves and we're have the ability to understand someone else's perspective, we have more healthy relationships.
Okay, so the elements of the frameworks of emotional intelligence, what are we? Let's just list them out again.
So there are 5 core competencies.
Okay. 5 core competencies of
social and emotional learning help us build our emotional intelligence. So that's self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making.
Responsible. So self-awareness is about being aware of yourself. Social awareness is about being aware of the people around you and kind of getting a gauge on them. It's about them, not about you. Always good to empathize and try to look at the world through someone else's perception. Self-management, how you manage your emotions, how you treat them, how you treat yourself is self-management.
Yes.
Okay.
Also in the lines of goal setting, right? So if time management comes into that, anything around managing your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviors to achieve one's goal.
That is self-management. Okay. And then relationship skills, how you treat other people.
And forming those relationships and maintaining those healthy relationships.
Do you have any tricks to forming and maintaining healthy relationships aside from be considerate, put yourself in someone else's shoes, because really that goes a long way. Going back to, Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. If you accept and see the other person in the room, they always respond to you, because everybody just wants to be seen.
Yes, seen.
We all just want to be seen.
We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to feel a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
So when I think of relationships, I think of connection.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about presentations, when I do a keynote, if I have the opportunity to arrive early and have some type of connection with the audience, whether they're meeting for dinner the night before, really establishing those relationships through connection by learning about someone else is how you form relationships. How you maintain them is that loyalty and that trust, and communication, communicating effectively, understanding perspectives. Is a way to maintain those relationships. Was is not an easy thing
it's an ongoing thing.
Yes.
It doesn't happen overnight.
It's an ongoing. It's a process. Literally, that's a part of the definition. It's a process. It's not we arrive. We are emotionally intelligent, and the work is done.
Do you think you can be emotionally intelligent in one situation and a total disaster in another? Same person?
Absolutely, because as humans, we're all so very different, and when we mix colors together, right, you get a new color.
Right.
So when you're mixing humans together with different minds, different experiences, you're gonna get a different color that comes out.
I love that. It's all about color and mixing and matching, and it's always different. This episode of Presentation Hell is sponsored by Shuffler. Shuffler makes presentations easier for everyone in your company. Every file is formatted to present, so you can find the right slide at the right time. Shuffler is presentation management. Go to shuffler.com. Okay, so let's talk about emotional intelligence, EQ, and how you can apply that to making better presentations.
Yes. So when I think about preparing for a presentation, and we just went through the competencies, one that really I think is a strong one when it comes to preparing for a presentation is that self-management piece. I don't know about you all, but when I first started public speaking, it was rather nerve-wracking to get up there and speak in front of people. And some people speak very fast, some people skip over their words, or they use the so or the and or the
Like I use like a lot, like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So preparing oneself for that presentation is critical, and we don't give just a moment to just take a breath, which we can do. It's something that brings us back to the present moment and will ease some of those nerves when we're going out to present. Some people it comes more naturally for, but I had to build myself up to present more powerfully.
And how did you build yourself up to become a better presentation? Because you speak a lot these days, and you're very effective. I've seen you.
So it is that self-awareness piece. There was a time when I didn't want to watch anything that I did.
Oh, I still don't.
Yeah, so now I've become more open to that and less critical when I do that. It is, where is the opportunity for growth? Where's that potential? And with looking at myself, I'm able to see that and not be judgmental, but be more supportive of myself. Okay, this is an area that I want to improve on, and setting those goals so the next time I can implement those strategies of pausing in between when I'm speaking, rather than filling it with an or an and. And this takes practice. I mean, I'm still working on that actively. So that is another area.
So when presenting, one, it's okay to be nervous and have anxiety.
Absolutely.
And as an emotionally mature person, someone with a high EQ, you can acknowledge, oh, I'm feeling really anxious right now, or I'm scared to death to go in front of all of these people in this room. That's okay. That's natural. Even seasoned presenters get nervous. So you're saying acknowledge that emotion.
Yes.
Accept that it's natural, because it is. And you know what? All that means, anxiety, is that it's important to you.
Yes, that is what my dance teacher would say.
We're going to get to dance in a minute.
She would say, if you're nervous about it, that means that you care.
And caring about something is great. It means it matters. It means you have purpose.
Yes.
It means whether you've done it consciously or not, that you've set a goal for yourself.
Yes.
Whatever it is you're dancing through or presenting through, you've set your goal to succeed. There comes from, that's cause of the anxiety, but that's also a good thing. So maybe we don't need Xanax and Valium to calm down. It's just, it's okay to be a little anxious.
Yes.
It's okay not to be happy all the time.
And instead of saying, I am anxious, you are not anxious. You feel anxious. It does not make you up. Anxiety does not make you up, and you put a label, and now I'm anxiety walking through this theater getting ready to speak. No, I feel anxious, and I just need to take a moment and say it's okay for me to feel this way, and maybe I need to take a few breaths. Everybody has a different strategy. It's not going to work. Like what may work for me may not work for you, but finding what does.
Right.
Some people enjoy tea before they present to just bring their nerves down a bit. Maybe it's music. I love music. Music really anchors me as well. And if you need to get pumped up, I know I play my good music to get me in the
get
mood.
you going.
Yes.
I love that you by labeling your emotions, you're demoting them. Like, instead of saying I am anxious, I feel anxious, but you can also feel happy. You can also feel tired. You can also feel grateful for this great opportunity to give a presentation. You can feel, actually, if we all think about it, we're probably feeling 20, 30 different emotions at one time. So it's how much power we give to those emotions.
Absolutely.
And by labeling it, you just demoted it. So it doesn't have to own you. Anxiety doesn't have to own you.
Yes.
So let's transition for a minute and talk about your dance and the dance project and how dance has affected your life. I personally, a lot of my listeners know I'm a ballet aficionado. I absolutely love it, and I've been studying ballet my whole life. I'm a mess. I have 2 left feet. I don't know my left from my right. I have no turnout, but I still go because I love it and I love to learn about it. And it's helped me in so many different ways. So, and going from a dance teacher, a dance producer, into business, essentially, to running a nonprofit, how did you make that transition?
Well, it was, the heart of my work has always been development, personal development, youth development, and I utilize the arts as a form of empowerment. So when I'm leading my Move Bridges Dance Project workshops, it is using dance as a form of empowerment. So moving people through the space, but with the reflections of understanding oneself and how you operate beyond that dance classroom. When we're moving, think about it. That's when people say, oh, I don't dance, that's really you stepping outside of your comfort zone, is for everybody to see your body is moving, and that can be intimidating.
Yep.
So working through that, think about it if you would apply it to life. There's things that you're going to be uncomfortable in, and how do you work through that? And of course, creating that safe space for the non-dancers to feel welcome. I believe if you can move your limbs, you can dance.
Yep.
Right? It's putting some music on and moving your body.
I think if you can feel the music inside of you, you can dance.
Absolutely.
You can be in a wheelchair and you can still dance.
Yes.
Dance is movement. I think it comes from inside. It comes from your soul.
It does.
And who cares what your limbs are doing?
Yes, and dance is my heart, and to see people come together through that, and I think that's what emotional intelligence also has the power to do, is to bring understanding, right, to our world, and understand that you may be different than I am, but we are more alike than we can imagine, and dance allows us to do that. So moving from the art space into this emotional intelligence space was really not drastic. It was
Right.
like a natural progression, because that was always at the heart of what I wanted to see in myself, and support others in as well.
And do you think your experience dancing makes you a better presenter?
Absolutely. When you're presenting, it is all
It's
about
dance.
creativity. It is all about being unique and artistic and clever. So going back to that piece of relationship building, or that social awareness piece of understanding your audience, right? When I was going to school for education, it's not about, yes, you have your lesson plan, but it's really like understanding your students. So when we're presenting, thinking about, okay, understanding my audience, who's in the room, so you're not just speaking at them, you're speaking to them and with them. So a way to do that is maybe you're surveying your attendees to see, their demographics, or things that they want to learn about, or challenges that they have. When it comes to engagement strategies, I'm a dancer, so I don't want you to just sit there and listen.
Right.
I want you to get up and move and practice the strategy, right? And being able to have that movement aspect to it, it takes it to a whole nother level when it comes to engaging your audience. So when I'm building these presentations, preparing them, I'm thinking about, all right, my audience is here. How am I going to keep them engaged throughout?
And that
this
would
time?
go to the social awareness piece, is getting off yourself and getting onto your audience. Because when you make it about your audience, it's less about you, so you've just taken the pressure off yourself,
Absolutely.
which helps with the willies and the anxiety and the nerves. You're moving it off of you onto
Yes.
them.
Yes.
And at the same time, you are seeing them, and everybody ultimately just wants to be seen. If we've learned anything in social distancing and the pandemic, we all just want to be seen. That was the hardest thing, was the isolation, because all of a sudden you were not being seen. Everybody was invisible, at most behind a screen.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. So just to sum up a few of your fabulous tips, when it comes to social awareness and emotional intelligence, naming your emotions, identifying your emotions, accepting them without letting them own you. What did you say? Name it, claim it, tame it, don't blame it. So we've just demoted all of our hard emotions to make us more emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
And if we do that before we're about to give a presentation, it'll help us relax and own the room.
Yes. Understanding oneself and honoring your feelings and your emotions. And when we're talking about social awareness, putting your audience first.
Put your audience first.
The goal is you want them to learn something. You want them to walk away with something. But are we asking those questions to check if learning happened, right? Those reflection questions, whether it's before, during, or after, are you engaging them? Are you reading the room? When we're going back to social awareness, I know we're summing up, but another thing is that what body language, right? If they're in the audience and they're nodding off, or they're on their cell phones, I mean,
you can't stop them.
Strip away our technologies at our fingertips. The world's at our fingertips all the time. But I think we have the power to engage our audience more effectively, and it's by putting them first, understanding whether I'm being more aware of that when you're preparing and when you're presenting.
Excellent. Excellent. Put your audience first. Demote your emotions. They're just one of many. Anxiety is one of many emotions.
And demote them, but honor them.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. When we are building our emotional intelligence, we're learning to manage our emotions so they don't manage us.
Excellent. Manage your emotions so they don't manage you. Cece, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure.